Oh, straight into the roof of the net. Nice one. Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here today.
Hi, welcome to yet another week, and it's the start of yet another episode of Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. Now, there are sporting icons whom you always associate with a franchise, a brand or a team. Michael Schumacher always meant Ferrari. Sir Bobby Charlton, always Manchester United. You cheer for Kobe Bryant, you cheer for LA Lakers, and so on. The teams mean something and they make the player. A lot of memories are associated with the bond, and somehow that is deep in the memories of fans as well. And when it comes to cricket, it is about the Indian Premier League and what certain cricketers have meant for certain franchises. MS Dhoni is Chennai Super Kings, and Chennai Super Kings means MS Dhoni. Virat Kohli is a Delhi boy, but nothing quite describes him better than what Royal Challengers Bengaluru means to him. Their identities as sporting icons are linked to the teams that have nurtured them from a very young age. Now, it is a very symbolic relationship, much like what Hardik Pandya shares with his first franchise, Mumbai Indians. On the show, we tell you how it all happened, as you all know from the buzz over the weekend, and all the latest from the Indian Premier League retentions. Also, what is so special about the young Indian left-handed cricketer Rinku Singh? Does he remind you of a certain legend? And the new kid on the block is making strong waves in world tennis. All of that and more in our show today. But first, a look at the headlines in Sports 360. Manchester United beat Everton 3-0 in Sunday's Premier League match. Alejandro Garnacho scored early in the third minute for the Red Devils. In the second half, Marcus Rashford scored on a penalty to extend the lead for United. Anthony Martial scored the third goal for United in the 75th minute. Aston Villa beat Tottenham Hotspur 2-1 in the Premier League clash. The Spurs scored early in the 22nd minute on a goal from Giovanni Lo Celso. Pau Torres helped Villa equalise in the first half injury time. In the second half, Ollie Watkins scored the winning goal for Aston Villa. The Formula One racing season concludes. Red Bull's Max Verstappen ended the season by winning the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It has been a record-setting year for Verstappen after he won 19 of the 22 races. Red Bull's Sergio Perez finished second this season, and Lewis Hamilton from Mercedes came in third. The MotoGP racing season also wrapped up. It was a podium takeover for Ducati Racing this year. Francesco Bagnaia clinched first place. His Ducati compatriots Jorge Martin and Marco Bezzecchi finished second and third. And India beat Australia by 44 runs in the second T20 international match. The men in blue batted first and scored 235 runs in their 20 overs. Half centuries from Ruturaj Gaikwad, Yashasvi Jaiswal and Ishan Kishan helped India reach the massive total. The visitors got off to a strong start but lost wickets in quick succession. Australia completed their innings at 191 runs with 1 wicket remaining. India now lead the 5-match T20 series 2-0. Now, the weekend was buzzing owing to the Indian Premier League. Yes, it's still a while away, but Sunday was the last day for all of the 10 franchises to announce their list of retained and released players. And one man's fortunes dominated all of last week's rumour mills and headlines. We will get to that in just a bit, but first, let me tell you what the timelines roughly are. From this point on till when the Indian Premier League starts, somewhere in April next year, the auctions are going to be held in Dubai outside India. That's on the 19th of December. And of course, the window for trading will be open till the 12th of December. This will be a mini auction, but by the looks of it, will be quite an exciting mini auction. So I'm summing up the top talking points from each of the franchises who will be heading into the auction. The players released and retained tells you a story. Let's start with the one that got everyone in a bit of a tizzy. The rumours, of course, began more than a week ago, and today came in, of course, the official confirmation. Captain of Gujarat Titans, Hardik Pandya, has indeed gone back to the mothership, his first and only other IPL team, the Mumbai Indians. Now, how can this be possible, you ask? Let me explain. Now, there are two kinds of trades that happen in the Indian Premier League. One, of course, is a two-way trade where a team gets a player it wants in exchange for one or more players. Like when Shikhar Dhawan went to Delhi Capitals from the Sunrisers Hyderabad in 2019 in exchange for three players, Vijay Shankar, Abhishek Sharma and Shahbaz Nadeem. Then there is a single player trade-off, like what we see a lot of. It's happened this year too, between Lucknow Super Giants or LSG and Rajasthan Royals or RR, for example. There was a direct swap, which is not necessarily a like-for-like between Devdutt Padikkal and Avesh Khan. Avesh Khan has moved to Rajasthan Royals and Devdutt has gone to the Lucknow franchise. And then there is the one-way trade, which is almost a purchase. That's what happened with Hardik Pandya. Now, what happens in a one-way trade is that if a cricketer receives an offer from another team and if he's keen to, he will inform his current franchise of the interest. The decision to sell a player of theirs can come from the franchise as well, in which case the cricketer is then taken into the discussion and in both scenarios, of course, a transfer fee is initiated. The transfer fee, of course, is what the team that is buying will pay the team that is releasing the cricketer. So in this case, Mumbai Indians will be paying Gujarat Titans a transfer fee. Now, this transfer fee is an amount that the player and the current team, in this case Hardik Pandya and Gujarat Titans, have decided upon. And yes, the player gets a percentage of the transfer fees too. And that is something the player can demand, and it's a percentage that is agreed upon. Now, once this is decided and finalized, the agreement is then sent to the BCCI and the IPL Governing Council. Everything is then approved officially. But considering the teams and player in question are both in agreement, it is but a formal ratification of the move. The transfer fee, of course, is over and above what the player's contract is. In Hardik Pandya's case, that is 15 crores or 150 million Indian rupees. Now, Mumbai Indians, after their previous buys at the last auction, were only left with 50 lakhs or 5 million in their kitty. So if they really wanted Hardik, which we know they did, they would have to release certain players so that there is enough to accommodate Hardik's price of 150 million. Which is what they did. They managed to get Cameron Green sold to Royal Challengers Bengaluru, making sure that he got his price of 175 million instead of releasing him in an auction where he wouldn't get anywhere close to that amount. They knew Bengaluru was keen on Green in the earlier auction bid when they had got Green in the first place, so they made a smart move and also released some key players in the process, like Jofra Archer, Tristan Stubbs, Chris Jordan, Jai Richardson, to make room for Hardik monetarily. They released 11 players, which gave them little over 150 million. But with the Cameron Green trade, they have ended up freeing up a 175 million at the auction table next month, enough to get back Hardik and of course play around at the auction table to get some players to fill in the gaps that's been created because of the players that they've released. Their notable retentions are, of course, Rohit Sharma, Ishan Kishan, Arjun Tendulkar, Tilak Verma, Piyush Chawla, Tim David, Surya Kumar Yadav and of course Jasprit Bumrah. Now let's talk about the move itself. It's a massive one. Hardik Pandya was the face of the Gujarat Titans, the captain and the local boy, Ahmedabad's biggest cricketing hero. If you remember, Hardik was released from Mumbai Indians before the mega auction involving the two new teams. Mumbai Indians, or MI, only retained Rohit Sharma, Surya Kumar Yadav, Jasprit Bumrah and Kieron Pollard, surprisingly letting go of their very own Hardik Pandya. Thereafter, moving to Gujarat Titans as captain immediately changed things around for him. Before taking up this new challenge, Hardik was at crossroads in his own career. He had been suspended by the board due to some comments he had made on a talk show. He had gone through a massive back injury that had kept him away from the game for long. He had had his fair share of issues before the turnaround happened in Gujarat, where he led his team to an inaugural Indian Premier League title. He had contributed with both bat and ball throughout the season. The second season was just as good, with Gujarat reaching the final before losing to Chennai Super Kings. And now to leave all that and head back to Mumbai Indians would seem to put Gujarat in a bit of a bother. The last week was, of course, spent behind closed doors, where the Titans' top brass huddled to decide who their captain could be, and announcing Shubman Gill just earlier today, the Indian opener, as their next skipper. Hardik, in fact, began his IPL journey with Mumbai. He was bought by that franchise for just 10 lakh rupees, just $1 million, as an uncapped player in 2015, and was then part of successful campaigns the same year as well as in 2017, 2019 and 2020. This move also comes even as there are reports emerging of Rohit Sharma and the BCCI, or the Board of Control for Cricket in India, in discussions on his future in white ball cricket. At 37 years, this is of course Rohit Sharma's last face in the sport. Some other notable news from the different franchises coming out of the weekend. One, of course, Chennai Super Kings retaining MS Dhoni for yet another year, making fans go crazy on social media of seeing their favourite taking on the field one more time. There has been no intimation, though, of how his knee is recovering post the surgery, but this definitely is the news all Chennai Super King fans were waiting for. Delhi Capitals has retained Rishabh Pant. Kolkata Knight Riders have retained Shreyas Iyer. The few shocking releases, of course, has been Bengaluru franchise releasing the all-rounder Sri Lankan Hasaranga. Punjab Kings releasing again the Indian all-rounder Shah Rukh Khan. Sunrisers releasing Harry Brook. And speaking of Harry Brook, the Indian Premier League next season could see very few England players present. After Ben Stokes wished to excuse himself from the lucrative league to focus on his knee surgery, of course that's coming up, as well as the Ashes, Joe Root also has done the same. He will be giving IPL a miss, confirming he will not be part of the Rajasthan Royals setup for the next season. So too Jofra Archer, who was released by the Mumbai Indians. So a lot of interesting movements leading up to that mini auction that will take place in Dubai next month. Let's move on to some cricketing action on the field. Amidst all the chatter about the IPL transfers, which player is heading to which team, there was, of course, the India-Australia game in Thiruvananthapuram, the second T20 international in the 5-match series. While India won the match rather comprehensively by 44 runs, there are quite a few talking points as far as this young Indian T20 team is concerned. To start with, there are the notable absentees like Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli and Hardik Pandya. Quite a set of big shoes to fill. And then there's one eye on the T20 World Cup next year, where Team India is looking to bury the ghosts of their ICC tournament failures and hopefully get their hands on the trophy. So who are the ones to look out for when we speak about the future? At least the possible options to step into the 11. Young and explosive players who have really proved their mettle in the Indian Premier League. The likes of Yashasvi Jaiswal, Ishan Kishan, Ruturaj Gaikwad. In the bowling department, you have Arshdeep Singh, Ravi Bishnoi, Mukesh Chaudhary. And today we want to focus on one such player, a man who in a limited span of time has made a huge impact with his batting display and his general demeanour. A gun player who is set to take the world by storm. He became an overnight sensation earlier this year. It started with his IPL franchise and now he seems determined to repeat those heroics for the national side. Yes, I'm talking about the young Rinku Singh. Before we tell you about what this man has done and the potential he has shown, let me take you back to an Indian Premier League game earlier this year. The Kolkata Knight Riders were facing Gujarat Titans in Ahmedabad. KKR needed 28 runs off the last 5 balls, nearly impossible on most days. No, almost all days. The pressure is on Rinku too, who, just to remind you, hadn't really made a big splash in the IPL till then. So you can imagine the pressure and the intensity. But what does Rinku do next? He goes ahead and smashes the bowler Yash Dayal for 5 consecutive sixes. That's right, he hits 30 runs in 5 deliveries and saves KKR from the jaws of defeat. And it was following this game that cricket fans really stood up and took notice of Rinku Singh. So much so that at another game later in the tournament, KKR were in a similar situation at the Eden Gardens and Rinku was out there in the middle. A sold-out Eden Gardens were chanting Rinku's name, hoping that he'll bail them out once more from a highly improbable situation. How about that? Nearly 70,000 people chanting your name after your heroics in just a single match. And just like that, Rinku Singh emerged as one of the biggest finds of IPL 2023. With some clean hitting and monstrous hitting, he scored 474 runs in 14 games at a strike rate of almost 150, the highest by any KKR batter that season. And it included 4 half-centuries. Truly an impact player for whom IPL became the stage he announced himself on.
My life changed after those 5 sixes. People knew me, but not that much. But after those 5 sixes, now a lot of people know.
And life changer it indeed has been, especially if you look at his humble beginnings. He comes from a very small, modest background, born in a small city in India's northern state of Uttar Pradesh. His father worked at an LPG distribution company. But nothing stopped young Rinku from chasing his dreams. The swashbuckling left-hander announced himself in the domestic circuit, playing for his home state of Uttar Pradesh, and eventually ended being picked up in the IPL auction, whose motto clearly is, where talent meets opportunity. But let's look beyond the IPL and the reason why we're talking about him today. What makes Rinku Singh stand out? Firstly, the fact that he doesn't seem to be that one-game wonder, a player that will just score in one match and then go off completely off the radar. When you watch him bat and speak about his performance, the determination, you know he wants to be in the mix for the long haul. Soon after the IPL, he made his way in the Indian T20 setup, played his debut match against Ireland. In just 4 T20 innings, he has batted for India. He's made quite a mark, scoring 128 runs in the 59 balls he's faced so far. Now, I know these figures for India alone don't look that big. The sample size is quite small, but it's the impact that he has made, scoring those runs at a strike rate of nearly 220. Rinku Singh looks to be firmly in contention for that coveted finisher's role heading into the T20 World Cup next year. Take last night's match, for instance. Rinku Singh scored a blistering 31 off just 9 deliveries with 4 sixes, 4 fours and 2 sixes, helping India post a strong total after the top order laid the platform. Or even the first T20 international, where he scored 22 off just 14, finishing the game in style for India with a 6. And that's really the unique selling point or USP of Rinku Singh. The ability to take the game deep, hit sixes at will, put the pressure back on the bowling side, and do all of these with utmost ease, confidence, calmness, and of course, that swagger. Truly tailor-made as a finisher for the shortest format. Now, where have we heard or seen this before? A small-town boy making it to the international stage, hitting huge sixes and finishing games for India. Regularly, that reminds you of MS Dhoni. Well, that's what some of his teammates think as well.
When I saw Rinku come into bat in the last game, the composure he showed was brilliant. It reminded me of someone. Everyone knows the answer.
Now, one wouldn't want to jump the gun and make instant comparisons between Rinku Singh and, of course, the legend that is MS Dhoni, given how young Rinku is in his international career. But you cannot help but observe a few parallels there, especially given the inspiring figure that Dhoni has been for so many youngsters. Inspired almost an entire generation. Some who are keenly looking to emulate his lightning-quick keeping, and some, of course, his finishing prowess. Rinku himself has credited Dhoni for his calmness, saying he chatted with MS to pick his brains and understand what he does in the final overs. The advice was crystal clear from Dhoni. Stay calm and look to hit the ball straight. And you can see that in Rinku Singh's approach and his attitude. He has stood firm in his crease, not lost his shape or balance too much while smashing those big hits, and absolutely nails the cameo role that he's given as well to the T. So can Rinku Singh flourish in that finisher's role come the big games going forward, and that too consistently? One can safely say that we haven't quite seen the last of Rinku Singh's fireworks with the bat. Now, our next story is on tennis. And no, it's not about any of the big three. It's about a new rising star who is bringing Italy a newfound glory. He's truly a sinner on the court. Pardon the pun there. But when he picks up the racket, opponents are left sincerely at a loss. The Davis Cup concluded yesterday with Italy emerging as the winners of the tournament, and that triumph was propelled by one man, Jannik Sinner. It was after 47 years that Italy managed to lift the trophy, and this win was nothing short of historic. His performance over the last few weeks, in fact, has been incredible. The young talent is the new inspiration for aspiring tennis players both in Italy as well as world over. He's not just on the road to success, but he is carving a legacy of his very own.
Italy ended its 47-year winless streak at the Davis Cup yesterday, all thanks to Jannik Sinner's incredible performance. The last time Italy won this tournament was way back in 1976. Nicola Pietrangeli was the team captain back then. Now, Sinner has aced his way into Italian tennis history. The Davis Cup is one of tennis's premier events. It builds rivalry between countries who get to bring in their pride and celebration for their country. Yesterday's final took place in the Spanish city of Malaga, and Italy took on Australia. Matteo Arnaldi had already given Italy the first win. He beat Alexei Popyrin 7-5, 2-6, 6-4 in the opening singles. Sinner then took care of the second singles title in a match that lasted for 1 hour 21 minutes by beating Australia's Alex de Minaur 6-3, 6-0 in comprehensive win in straight sets. Sinner is just 22 and his hunger for greatness is unquenchable.
I came here with confidence, throughout the whole month I played, coming from Turin. I gave 100% all what I had, and I think the whole team, they pushed everyone of each other, and this is maybe our key why we are standing here with this trophy.
The Davis Cup final was truly a fierce match, and Italy was up against a country that has a huge Davis Cup legacy. Australia is a 28-time winner of the tournament. But what added an extra layer to Sinner's confidence was his win in the semis against Serbia's Novak Djokovic. He was riding the high of beating the world number one. The unstoppable Novak was beaten not just once but twice in a single day. This was during the singles and doubles matches when Serbia took on Italy in the semi-final over the weekend. Jannik Sinner is also only the third man to beat Djokovic twice in a span of 12 days. The first was during the group stage match of the season-ending ATP Finals event, and then in the Davis Cup tournament on November 25th. Only Rafael Nadal and Andy Murray have done this before. Since September, his matchups have been extraordinary. He was pitted against some of the best in the business, and time and again he has outplayed them. Sinner has beaten 9 top 10 ranked players since September. These include some of the most seasoned professionals: Carlos Alcaraz, Daniil Medvedev, Andrei Rublev, and Holger Rune. After seeing him play, even his opponents can't resist admiring him. Here's what Alex de Minaur said after the Davis Cup final.
Yeah, look, I think probably Novak said it maybe a week ago. Jannik's riding this amazing wave of confidence, and he's playing in indoor conditions with some heavy balls where he can hit the absolute crap out of the ball. He's seriously impressive, the level he's thrown.
Sinner's ability to gather respect from his rivals speaks volumes about the kind of impact he's having on the circuit. In this high-octane world of competitive tennis, he is surely the next big name to look out for.
Now it's almost time to wrap up the show, but not before we give you the last serve. It's our parting shot. Now there are ways of honouring the life and times of sporting legends. There are books written, movies made. Lionel Messi had a Cirque du Soleil performance dedicated to him. Basketball star LeBron James has a museum to showcase his life and career, and it opened yesterday in his very hometown of Akron in Ohio. Commemorate the achievements of a sporting legend. But that's all there is time here on Firstpost today. We hope you enjoyed this as much as we did bringing it to you. But time for me to go. I'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, of course, take care and bye-bye.